people for joining the Team Captain Power Hour. We have some guests tonight that are joining us, and I'm Monica Smith. I'm the Director of Development for the Northeast region of the Lupus Foundation of America. We have Tay Thompson, who's on the call, and we also have Brittany Wolf, and we have, I think, Lynn Evans should be joining us if she's not on the call yet. So, Tay, do you want to get started and just talk a little bit about your team and your involvement with the walk?
Hi, I'm Tay. This will be my 5th year walking with the New York City Walk and my 4th year on the committee. And my team consists of, my mom, my best friend, and my close friend from high school. And we come out every year and just have fun.
Great. Well, thank you, Tay, and that's Team Tay, by the way. So, Brittany, do you want to talk a little bit about your team and your involvement?
Yeah, sure. So, hi, I'm Brittany. My team is Team Wolfpack, and it consists of myself, my parents, my sister, my boyfriend, and a couple of friends sometimes tag along. I think I'm expecting a little bit of a bigger turnout this year. It's only my 2nd year. I was just diagnosed last year, so that was my first walk, and I had a great time with it. And we all try to fundraise together. We all try to pitch in and, share the links and, spread the word. And, yeah, so we have a great time. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Great. Well, thank you, Brittany. Oh, great. Lynn, perfect timing. So Lynn Evans, leader of the CURE team. Lynn, do you want to talk a little bit about your team?
Sure. We started the CURE, let's see, this is our 3rd year walking. I was active in the New Jersey chapter years ago when my daughter was diagnosed at age 12. She's now 27. So I was active there, but 3 years in New York, and we've grown every year. We were just a small little group the first year, and each year it has grown. And we've, trying to recruit more and more people every year. I don't know if you want me to keep going, but but that's our little team.
Great.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, and as we go through the topics tonight, we're going to really be interactive, and I'm going to ask Lynn, Brittany, and Tay to really chime in and talk about some of their tips to success. So we are hosting this call tonight because of the New York City Walk, but really the walk is, this program is really for any walk around the country. So the first thing we want to talk about is just getting started with the walk. And, I would always say that the first ask should be to your inner circle. I think this is for a lot of reasons. It's your core people who know and love you that are going to give. And, when we look at giving, I think what we want to do first is make sure that you're set up. So before you even ask anybody to give you any money, personalize your page, share your story, know the basics of the walk city that you are in. So, what's the date and time? What are the, great things that are happening at that walk location? What are the fundraising deadlines? What are the prizes that you are going after? So, I think that's really most important. And, does anyone, I think, Brittany, I think you've personalized your team page and your personal page. Do you want to talk about that? And, was it hard? Was it easy? Has it gotten a response for you?
Yeah, so I remember when I did it last year, I just had my personal page, and I was kind of like a team of one, and then, my family joined in and everyone, and then I created the team page, but I still, personalized everything, and I found that I just wrote my story, like, it was kind of therapeutic too, in a way. I was just, I started from the beginning and went to the end and kind of filtered anything out that wasn't really necessary. But, and I found that as, my family and friends shared the link, I've gotten a response that, people have really found that it impacts them more. They're like, wow, I didn't know you went through this. I didn't know you went through that. Or they learn more about what lupus does to, my body and, to other people, and I feel like that kind of elicits a response like, oh, I have to help, I have to do something, rather than, if it's just general, it's important, you still kind of learn, you get the gist of it, but I think that if people realize how it affects you personally, I think that they, people, will comment and want to help you, and then it's just, it's more personal, it's more close to home. And yeah, so I just started top to bottom, wrote out my story and was like, all right, this is it.
And
So
Lynn,
I think
this is Lynn chiming in. Oh,
Do it.
sorry. I'm just
yes.
going to reiterate about the personal story. I did that too this year. Last year I sort of just did the generic lupus thing that the Lupus Foundation put out there. This year I went with the personal story of Megan, my daughter, from a parent's point of view, and so when people read it, they, as she had said, that they understand your story, and I think it hits home for more people. And from my perspective as a parent, I sent it to all of my friends so that they all have kids. So they sort of understand what it's like to be a parent. And oh my gosh, if your child had lupus, blah blah. It's nice, to share a story because it does put a little bit of the emotion into it, and people tend to, give more.
And I think what's nice with that too is you don't even have to personalize. You can personalize to your own comfort level, but I think people really notice when you're sort of using the template page that the LFA has up there, or when you've even just put a photo up and a couple of sentences. I think it makes a difference. And so I would always say, prep that way before you really get started asking. And I think, day one, make that first ask. And I think that's the hardest for so many people. And, I think a lot of people, they hear the word fundraising or they think they have to ask somebody for money and they just cringe. And it's a fear, I think, that can be debilitating for people. They just don't want to do it. But I think once, when people experience they have that first ask, they get over it. That's why I always say ask the people that are closest to you. Those that will give, it'll boost your confidence and it'll boost your fundraising efforts. So, Kay, who's the first person you ask and how did you get over asking for money?
So the first thing I do is I usually donate to my page so that it's not on zero. And then I'll ask.
I did that too.
So I'll ask my closest friends, hey, if you guys want a t-shirt this year, just make sure you donate to my page so we can get that going. And also just like your family, I also go to my church as well. So they love to give donations. They always ask me every year. If they don't see that I send them an email or give them a letter, they like, hey, you didn't ask me this year. What's going on? I would like to donate to your page, so send me your link.
See, that's great. And you know what? You brought up a great point. Making that first donation to your page really sets a little bit of a tone. I think people see that you're invested, and they also say, there's some fear in being the first person to make the donation to the page. They want to see, if Mary's donating, she wants to see what Tony gave. And so I think once you have that first donation, it's a little easier to get people to give. So you've asked your core people, now it's day two. And this is when you really start enlisting your friends. And I have all these icons up here because we have so many ways to communicate now that it can be overwhelming. We have email, we have the phone, we have a personal ask, we have writing notes, we have text, which I don't even have an icon on here. So I think this is where you really have to think about what communication route works best. And I'm wondering if each of you would just talk about how you get your friends involved. Have you nominated some people to be your co-captain? And what communication methods have worked best for each of you? Lynn, I'm going to start with you because I know this year you wrote letters, which has had just a great impact for you.
Right. So way back when my daughter was in high school, we did letters to people, and we found that really worked. And the last 2 years I didn't, and this year I said, okay, how can I be a little bit more creative? Because, asking the same people every year. So I wrote up a letter, and it's on actually my fundraiser page. Personalizing the story a little bit about Megan. And I sent it to everybody. I went back to my kids' parents, friends in high school. I just took out my address book, my old-fashioned address book, and I just went from A to Z. And I thought, you know what? Should I send it to this person? And I was like, oh well, why not? What's the harm? And then I thought about my college friends. I thought about the kids' high school friends. I thought about my friends at work. I just thought of every single group of people, church people. And I sent about, I'd say about 200, at least 200 letters out. And, I set my goal high this year because I wanted, since it was the 10th year anniversary, I thought, well, I'll just set it up a little higher. And I'm still getting responses. I think it went really well. And for the people that wanted to do it online, I gave them my link in the letter. And for the people that, were a little bit older and weren't comfortable for donating online, they sent me good old fashioned checks. So and then I put a picture of our team last year of my family and Megan, and I didn't make it too personal because I didn't want to overstep Megan's boundaries. I got the okay from her, but anyway, so we did it that way. And then my kids have those are my sort of team builders. They send out they work well with social media better because they're 28, 30 and in that age group. So they're sharing the site with their friends. So their friends are getting donating online. So the letters really worked this year for me. So I have to find a different way next year. But for now, it's been a success for me.
Well, that's great. And Tay, how about you? What mode of communication do you use most, and how do you get your friends to get on board?
For my older donors, I use I send out letters like Lynn, and usually include an envelope with like my name and my link, and sometimes they'll use the link and go online to donate, or they'll include a check and just give it to me. For the younger folks, I send text messages and emails, and I also use social media.
Great. And Brittany, how about you? I think you use a lot of social media as well.
Yeah, I found that works a lot. And just kind of writing a different thing about, if I were to write, something that were happening in my life at that moment pertaining to lupus, or something exciting pertaining to lupus, or even just some facts, I find that sharing my link with that elicits a response, because it's something different every time. It's not like, oh, hey, donate. There's either a reason or, something piques somebody's interest. And I also, for a lot of family, I know my dad has sent out a ton of emails. Just he personalizes his own story from, a father's perspective, and sends it out to people that he's known through the years. I send it out to family members. And then when I see, my friends, even for some of my work friends, sometimes I just sit and I just talk about it, not in a negative way, just kind of educating them. And, they're like, wow, we really want to get involved. Like, some of them want to come to the happy hours that we do, or some of them want to either come to the walk or donate. And it's just, they find that they're more attached to it then, and it's more personal.
Exactly. And I think, the more you talk about it and however you talk about it, I think the key point of this when you're enlisting your friends and those closest to you is really to use every method of communication. I'm a fan of the good old phone. You're normally, if I'm calling somebody, especially nowadays with text and email, if I'm calling somebody in my inner circle or some of my close friends, they know it's important and they're going to want to get involved. So this brings us to day 3. You've hit your family, you've hit your friends, but who's your network? And you have a bigger network. As Brittany mentioned, it's people at work. There's opportunities sometimes to fundraise at work or get people to join your group. There's, as Tay mentioned, the church. People in your church will want to give when they hear you're doing something. There's book clubs. If you're a parent and you're always going to your kids' soccer games, there's that network over there that may give to your fundraising efforts. There are so many different people that we come in contact with who would be willing to give and help. And this is why we put this for day 3, because again, your friends and family, they're going to want to give. So those are easy wins for you. But I'd like for any of you to share, just some experience that you've had when you first told somebody in your expanded network about your fundraising efforts, and how you've maybe enlisted a friend to reach out to their network, whether they're in some sort of professional association or they're in school or they have something else going on. Brittany, do you want to start? Because I know you have a unique way to expand your network through your blog.
Yeah, so I formed this blog probably back in like late December, and it's called the Positivity Project. And I just did it to basically share my story, to share just having a positive, upbeat attitude, living a healthy lifestyle. Because I was a kinesiology, exercise science major at Rutgers, so it's just we learned about basic nutrition and all of that stuff as well. And I just try to share on social media. I share through different websites and everything like that, just to try to get the word out and just connect with people. And then even, as the walk gets closer, I share things about the walk. I share things happening within the LFA, where our fundraising efforts are going. And, it really reaches out to people. And I also spoke with the people at my gym, and they do want to hold a fundraiser for me because they've seen me. I've had a lot of surgeries in the past, and they've seen me kind of through that journey a bit because I've been attending my gym for quite a few years. And I told them about it, and I was like, yeah, so I'm doing the walk, and I want to do a fundraiser and at some point. And they were more than willing to help. You'd be surprised. Like at first I was a little nervous, just approaching them, but then I was like, you know what, they were so open to it. They were so friendly, and I'm very grateful for that. And you would be surprised if you just talk about it. You'd be surprised the response you would get. It's not always going to be like you have to be afraid of it. So I think just talking about it and sharing your story, and whether it's through the blog or in person, I think it really helps.
And I think you make a good point is the worst somebody can really say is no, and that's okay. People can say no and choose not to get involved, but if you don't put it out there, they're never going to say yes. And the reason that most people don't give or don't get involved is because they're never asked. So, Tay, you mentioned getting involved with your church. So, what was it like when you first really approached somebody at the church, or they knew that you were fundraising for the walk?
So I had to do a testimony in front of the whole church. And then basically I waited after service to hand out information about myself, my story. And then the next week after that, I just had donations rolling in, which was very surprising. I also asked for each person that donates to my page, I asked them if they can check if their job would match their donation, as well as if they can post my link on their page so that maybe one of their friends will see it and want to donate to my page. So that's one thing I also do.
That's an excellent way to, quickly double donations and expand your network. Just by them sharing a post, it's a way to get the word out. So day four, we really said, you've expanded your network, you've reached out to your family and friends, you've recruited some people to help you. This is when you really want to start sharing mission moments. And I would say, use your social media, share Lupus facts and stories. We have great artwork on our site, like this fact from the No Lupus campaign about 40% of adults with lupus and 66% of children will have kidney complications. That's something that's a quick fact that can get something out there without you feeling that you're too personal on your social media. You can download from our website some of our social media icons, I am walking for, and some of the stories. So we have a story here where somebody's giving a quote. So if you're somebody who feels uncomfortable going too public, with your lupus story, whether you're involved for yourself or a loved one, these are great things that you can share and still spread awareness and get people interested in the walk and what you're doing. And of course, whenever you're sharing any of these things, I would tell you to, of course, include your link. And just speaking of social media and speaking sort of how we connect, have any of you downloaded our fundraising app, and do you want to speak about that experience?
Yeah, I actually have. I didn't donate. I downloaded the app, and I found that it's just a quick, easy way just to see, different templates even just to post on your social media. If you're kind of stuck and you're kind of like, oh, I feel like I've been saying the same thing over and over again, it gives you some ideas. And then it also just, if somebody donated and you see an email come in, it just gives you a quick, glance at where you are pertaining to your goal, and how far you got along. So I feel like it's really helpful that way. And if you want to reach out to people, you can off the app. It's a quick way to just see where you're at rather than getting on a computer and waiting to get home or whatever. So I think it's helpful.
Exactly. You get that instant notification, especially when somebody makes a gift, you get that notification right there So you can thank them, you know they've made a gift, and you can see your progress. And I think we're also addicted to our phones and social media. It's just that little boost that we need to sort of keep going.
Yeah, and I also found that even the notification that comes up on it, like if it's on my notifications page on my phone, if I swipe down, I can see it comes up, walk to end lupus now. You've reached like X amount of dollars towards your whatever dollar goal. And I think that even when I sometimes clip that and share that on like Twitter or something, and it's like, hey, look, let's keep going. I just got this donation, keep us going towards our goal. And I think that that's just an easy way to kind of, I guess, break the ice with it.
Yes, that's a great idea. Thank you. So day 5, we've played with social media. We've really just communicated about the walk. We've talked to people about it. We've gotten a lot of our donations in. So what's something that you can do? And, I always like to talk about giving up to give back. It's funny because we just finished the whole Easter season and so many people give things up for Lent. But when you give something up, like, you're eating out lunch, or your red wine that you buy every week, or giving up a cup of coffee, or having the good old-fashioned swear jar, this is money that can add up very quickly. I have a change jar that I put money in all year, and, when walk time comes, I empty that big change jar, and that's more money that can go to the walk. So as we're talking about donations, I think it's important to remember that every dollar counts. It really all adds to our total for our fundraising. No gift is too small. So these things can really add up. And while there are fundraisers who can raise thousands of dollars, and there are people who raise hundreds, everything makes a difference. And very quickly, these donations can add up. So I'm going to put our panel on the spot here. Have any of you tried this? Have you brown bagged it for a week, or have you encouraged maybe your office to brown bag it for a week and give their lunch money up, or even just for a day, to see what you could have for the walk?
I haven't, but I think it's a good idea. I might do it tomorrow at work. I might send out a little note. No, I haven't. I do have a little change thing that I will. It's funny that you said that my husband and I just drop our change in, and I'm going to donate it at the end of next week, May. But that's
always
fun to go to the bank and go to that coin machine, see how much you have.
Yeah, and I think, for this discussion that we're having tonight, we really want things to be easy for people. I know that sometimes people sign up for the walk and they think, well, I'm just too late. And it's never too late to start fundraising. So these are easy ways that you can accumulate a nice donation very quickly. So day 6 is a little harder. Host a quick event. And we have so many people that do ancillary fundraisers for their walk activity, and some of them plan for months, and some of them literally plan an event in a week. And I have this great photo here, which is from a paint night party that a woman in Connecticut did last year. And what's nice is a lot of these places are popping up everywhere. They will let you plan a night and use their website, and you just bring a group of people in. And if it's a fun thing you would have done with your friends or coworkers anyway, at least a portion of the proceeds would come back to your walk efforts. A lot of restaurants like Applebee's and Chili's and Panera will host fundraising nights. You can do a quick event like a bake sale. One of the best easy fundraisers and incentives I've ever heard, and I probably repeat this a million times, is I worked with a gentleman who had a great team for this walk, and he put up a note in the kitchen at work, and he said, "Brownies in my office." And when people came in to get a brownie, he said, "Oh, great, can I have a donation?" And he raised a few $100 by the end of the day because they really wanted that brownie. So, these are easy things I think you can do still leading up to the walk and beyond. So, Lynn, I know that you've got a couple of young fundraisers on your team hosting planning some great events.
My daughter's going to go do a boxing gym class at her gym, and my son, he's in a pool league in Hoboken, so he's going to do a lupus night for pool. And I was actually going to do a spin class, but unfortunately I broke my foot. So I still plan on. I'm not going to do it this year, but next year I'm going to plan on. And getting back to like asking, I was like I didn't really want to overstep my boundaries by asking if it, would anybody be interested in doing a spin class. But it was just amazing when I asked, the whole class was like, "Oh, we'd love to come." So here I thought nobody really wanted to do it, but once I asked, the teacher was going to donate her time, and everybody in the gym is so friendly. You have your little gym friends when you go all the time. So I definitely will do that next year. This year is not in the cards, but there's so many different ideas that you can do to make money that are fun. Like I'm looking at this this picture that you showed, Sue, and that I've done that art thing before. I didn't realize that you could do a fundraiser there. That's a lot of fun. Maybe next year.
Yes. Yeah, and so Brittany, and I know you hosted a happy hour for the first time. What was that like getting that off the ground?
Yeah, so that was good. I just made an event on Facebook. I asked a bar downtown, kind of near NYU, in the city, and I was just like, donating part of the portions to the Lupus Foundation, explained everything. It was before the gala, so I was raising funds for that, still directly to the foundation. And it was nice because it was a Friday night, and I'm like, my friends are going to want to go out anyway, so we might as well make it for a reason. And it was fun. We just had a great time, and yeah, so that was good. And I'm also doing, I plan on doing the spin class. My gym agreed to it, which was fantastic. And yeah, I think I'm going to wait actually maybe until later in the year, just because I'm actually having a knee replacement in June. So I was like, I might want to wait until after that. And May's kind of a busy month, so I'm probably after. But yeah, so like Lynn said, if you just ask people, you'd be surprised the response you get, and then it's fun. So
yeah, and Kay, I know you've been involved with a lot of fundraisers. Do you want to talk a little bit about it? Okay.
Yeah, I usually do. Can you hear me?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, so every year I usually do a Super Bowl fundraiser, breakfast at my church. Also host a happy hour and a fitness boot camp. So those are the four things I do a year.
That's a good mix too. You kind of capture the interests of a lot of different people which again, look, we all know that we're looking for something fun to do. So if you can incorporate that into when you're doing something with your friends and family, it's an easy win.
Yeah.
Did somebody have a question?
No, I was just going to add, my husband is in these different like CEO groups and stuff. So I asked him for Thursday if he would just stand up and say, "Hey, we're going for a walk for my daughter," and I Xeroxed off my letter that I sent out to people. Now, none of these people I know, but Russell obviously knows them. So I said, "You got to pull the heartstrings of all these people. So, just put it at the back of the room, and if you'd like to, donate, please do." So as I say, if you don't ask, you never know if they're going to do it or not. So, even if you got one person to donate, one more than we would have. So
exactly. That's so true. And it's just the power of asking. Most people want to help us succeed. I think that's the biggest thing to remember when anyone's trying to get over their fear of asking for a donation. You're not asking for yourself. You're asking for a great cause and to help a lot of people. So when we're talking about events, I think, if anyone has questions and wants to learn how to do an event, we have tons of ideas, and I think there's just so many things out there you can do that doesn't have to be stressful or add, another layer of, work to your life. So, okay, so day 7, and I have double your efforts, and this is an important one. This is matching gifts, and we've kind of outlined 7 days, but really this will span whatever your walk cycle is, and I think it's so important, and Tay talked about it a little bit before, is matching gifts. They're so important. Companies budget thousands upon thousands of dollars for matching gifts, and most employees don't take advantage. So when you've collected all of your donations, you want to go back to all of your supporters and say, "Hey, can you ask if your company matches your gift?" It's a simple question. They fill out a form, and then we verify the donation, and then a check comes back and it goes into your fundraising efforts. And otherwise, that's just money that sits there, goes unused. When so many companies, and I can rattle off a few, Con Edison gives great matching gift donations, Johnson & Johnson, Starbucks gives matching gift donations. There's so many companies. And Tay, do you want to talk a little bit about matching gifts, because you've made it work?
Yes, so my second and third year, one of my team members worked for Barclays Capital, and usually they only match $1,000 of what she raised, but for those 2 years they matched basically the whole thing. So that year we ended up raising about like $15,000, which was a big surprise. So matching gift goes a really long way, and even if you don't work for the company, if a person is donating to your page, the company will match that $50, $25, whatever they give, and that can help you as well.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note, just like you said, it varies company to company. And, we have somebody who's walking where her mother works for a company, and that company's decided to match anything the team raises. And, each company varies. They want to align with certain causes. So it's something, again, to at least ask. And if you work for a company where they match, and you have employees who've given to your efforts, host a bagel breakfast one morning and say, hey, let's all fill out our matching gift forms together. Or, hey, let's log on to the portal and we'll get it all done, and bring in bagels for everybody. It's an easy way to get them to, go through with the process of, requesting that match, and it can, again, double your efforts. And I would also add for day 7, follow-up is great. So we've talked about asking people, and sometimes we just put an email out there into the world and we don't get a reply, but people don't always check their email. If I open my personal email box right now, there's a ton of, sale coupons for many different stores and many different promotions. So that's why you really want to follow up, especially with those people that are closest to you that you might not have heard from yet. So, that's really sort of how to push your efforts forward moving through for the walk. And we've outlined 7 days, basically because our walk is next Saturday. But the walk fundraising program, especially for New York City, stays open till June 18th. And for most walks around the country, it will stay open 4 to 6 weeks after. You still earn prizes. In New York, we have a great incentive for anyone who raises over $100 that they'll be entered to win tickets for JetBlue. But, we add these little prizes and these awards and these, sweatshirts and mugs and things, not because, we want to just, see money, spend money on rewards, because we spend very little on that. But we want to recognize your hard-earned work. And every time you walk around with a Walk to End Lupus Now sweatshirt, somebody else gets inspired, and they know that you're committed to the cause. So that is something that you should think about. I'm going to switch gears a little and just talk about walk day and some of our follow-up. So I recommend to everybody arrive early. So in New York, our walk starts at 8:30, or registration opens at 8:30, and the walk starts at 10. I tell everybody, get there 9:15. Enjoy the booths. So you'll want to check with your city to see the exact times. But sometimes if you come too late at the start of the walk, you kind of miss all the fun. So I want to put this out to the panel. What's your favorite part of walk day? And, what is it about the experience that keeps you coming back? So, Tay, we'll start with you.
So my favorite part is seeing all the teams with their different T-shirts and basically the team captains that I may have met at maybe the launch party or the events that the committee throw for the year. It's definitely a great day to celebrate survivorship and honor those that we basically lost in the battle.
Great. And Brittany, how about you?
I think my favorite part, I agree with Tate with that as well. That's always exciting, and I'm excited to see everyone too, since I met so many new people through this year of my first year of my lupus journey. But also I found that everybody who spoke on stage was very inspiring. I thought that, that was very emotional almost, and it was just, it kind of wakes you up that somebody's out there fighting for you too. You know, you're not the only one. And it's just, you look around and you're like, wow, everybody here is listening. Everybody here is here for that reason only. And it's like, it's, you know, you're not alone. You have that sense of, okay, this is, everybody here is my team, not just, you know, the few people with me. It's everybody here. And it's very, I think it's impactful, and it's, you know, it's a great way to open up the walk day.
Great. And then Lynn, how about you?
I agree with the other two. I just love the energy and all the people, and you just realize that everybody's there together and fighting for the same battle, and it just the numbers of people it just energizes the whole fight to find a cure for me. It makes me feel good for my daughter.
And we throw around sort of discover your power as our tagline for the walk, but it's just really true. It's a powerful day. I mean, you know, for New York, there's 6,000 people there all standing together. And when you think about people, and I'm sure, Brittany, you experienced this last year, there's a lot of people that haven't been public with having lupus before. So there's this power and energy to the day that is a little bit indescribable, but I think it's just really inspiring. So there's some ways, you know, to connect on Walk Day. We're going to have a Snapchat filter for New York, and certainly use our hashtag, which is WTELNNYC on all of your Instagram and your Snapchat and Twitter and Facebook and everything else. We have certainly our Facebook channels here for New York. But have fun, and it's funny that I have to put this in a list, but I think team captains especially and fundraisers do so much work before the walk that you have to remember to take a breath and take in the day and just enjoy yourself. And of course, keep your goal updated as you're fundraising, and before the walk and after the walk. You know, make sure that your goal keeps up, because you can keep raising it and have people want to continue to give. And of course, take photos and share them with everybody who gave to you. Whether you put that out on Instagram, or you email it to somebody, or you actually put that photo in a thank you note, it's a nice way for people to have closure to the event that they've helped support. And of course, send in all your donations by the close of the fundraising program so that you're eligible for some of our incentives. So what would be your, as we're going to go to questions, but what would be your best tips, everybody on the panel, for a great walk day? So we'll start with you now, Lynn. We'll go back. We'll go around.
Oh, you're putting me on the spot. What's my best?
Yes.
What's the question again?
What's
your
tips for a great walk day? Yes.
I just think, well, I always get everybody together and just have a meeting spot for our team. And I'm just trying to think about my tips. I don't know what you, I'm probably not answering the question.
All right, how about we'll come back to you. And how about Brittany? What do you have?
Come back to me. Yeah, come back.
I think that, just don't rush the day. Meet up with your team, hang out for a little bit and just to soak in the energy. And I think just don't rush it. You have all day. Nobody's saying, oh, it's a race. You have to do this. You have to do that. Just talk to everyone you want to talk to, see everything you want to see, take a lot of pictures. I think that if you're not rushing around and worried about what everyone else is doing, you'll have a great time. And I think that then it'll just be, you'll soak up everything that you need to soak up. You'll really appreciate the day then.
Great. Well, and then Kay, how about you?
I would say arrive early so you can check out all the booths and just have fun. Take pictures, like Brittany said, and have fun with it.
Yes. So, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I am definitely ready for walk day, especially after this call. You guys have given such great tips. And I just unmuted everybody who's on, so if anyone has a question, feel free to chime in. Okay, I don't know that we have any questions, but I want to thank everybody for joining and participating today. This is great information, and we've recorded this call, so we're going to share it on our social media, and we are going to encourage people to take your tips, because it's never too late to start fundraising, and I know that this will help a lot of people. So thank you all, and I hope you have a great night.
Thank you.
Have a great one.
You.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, Colin.